GraphQL exploitation. So now coming over to the exploitation part, we are going to use the damn vulnerable GraphQL application, which is an intentionally vulnerable implementation of the Facebook's GraphQL technology. There are various attack scenarios including reconnaissance, denial of service, information disclosure, and code execution. Won't be covering all the topics in detail as it will take a lot of time. Let us start by setting up the application. As you can see, there are various options available including a Docker image which can be built manually, or we can just pull the registry directly from the Docker hub or set up the server locally using Python. Since pulling the registry is the easiest option, we will use this. Navigate to the terminal and pull the Docker image using root user privileges. Then using the run command, start the local server at port 5013. We can navigate to the web application using any browser, but since we need to intercept and analyze the requests, we will use Burb's built-in Chromium browser. So now everything is set up. We can test the application for vulnerabilities. This looks like a pasteboard application where users can create, import, upload, and view paste. The first thing we have to search for is the GraphQL endpoint. So for that, let us navigate through the application and see if the requests are going to the server using Burb's HTTP history. For example, if we go to the public page section and view the HTTP history using Burp, we will see that a post request is going to the GraphQL endpoint. Right-click the request and send it to the repeater for further analysis. Since the GraphQL query is not easy to understand in this request, we will use the INQL Burp suite extension, which beautifies this kind of request. Just navigate to the B App Store and search for GraphQL. Then select INQL and click install. Wait for some time. After it is installed, navigate back to the repeater tab and see if the new GraphQL section has been added. Click it and observe that our query is now beautified. Let us send this request and see the output. Now we have the data of all the pages that are public, including the names of their owners, IDs, and titles. As we know that GraphQL allows users to decide what they want, we will create a query to list only the names of all the owners as shown. If we remove the public parameter and send the request, we'll get the names of owners with private passes. Now we'll use this request to dump the introspection schema of the application. The schema should be disabled by default in production websites, but if any user is able to retrieve it, then it comes under the information disclosure vulnerability. For this, we'll use Craigback's introspection schema query available on GitHub. Just copy this raw query and paste it into the INQL section of our request in the repeater tab. Since it is difficult to understand and remember these many lines of code, we'll use GraphQL Voyager to dump and visualize this scheme. Just search for GraphQL Voyager and click the first link that pops up. Click Change Schema and navigate to the Introspection tab. Click a Copy Introspection query and paste it in the IonQL section of a request in the Repeater tab. Send the request and observe that the schema is dumped again. Now copy the entire response and paste it into the GraphQL Voyager introspection schema. Then finally click Display to visualize the schema. Look at that, we have multiple queries, objects and parameters that can help us understand the relations between different queries. For example, we have a paste query that queries the pasted object and it contains an owner object that contains the owner ID and name. Then it is linked back to the paste object. Similarly, we have system health and system update queries. Also, we have a me query which queries the user object containing the username and password of a user. Now we will take a look at batching the attack scenarios. Batching is basically multiple requests in one single request causing denial of service. Suppose there is a request which is resource intensive and it takes time to query this request. Now, if we batch multiple of these queries in a single request and send it, it may overwhelm the server and cause denial of service. As we can see, there is a system query in the schema. Let us send this and see how the server reacts. Navigate to the Repeater tab and write the following system update query. Send this request. Observe that we get an error message. Looks like we have to write U in uppercase. See, this is one of the great things about GraphQL. It suggests the correction whenever a user encounters an error, thus helping him or her to query properly. Anyways, coming back to our query, capitalize the alphabet and send this request again. Observe that it's taking some time to get a response from the server. To compare the time of the request, we'll send this request to the intruder and cancel the ongoing request. Go to the intruder tab and generate one null payload. Click Start Attack. Looks like we forgot to change the case before sending the request to the intruder. Change the case of the alphabet and start the attack again. From the column section, turn on the response received and response completed columns, which show how much time it took to receive and complete the response. Until this is going on, let us send the request from repeater again so that we can compare how much time it takes to complete both the requests. Wait for some time. Look at that. We got a response on our intruder request with status 200 and it took around 50 seconds to complete. On the other hand, we don't have any response to our repeater request. Until this is completed, let us see what a batching attack looks like. For this, send this request to the repeater again and navigate to the new repeater tab. Now it took us around 50 seconds to complete one system update request. What if we send 3 system update requests in a single query as shown? Send this to the intruder as well and set up the attack like we did before. Also turn on the column so that it's easier to compare the time with our repeater request. While this attack is in progress, let us see if the first repeater request is completed or not. Look at that, we got a response and it took around 107 seconds to complete. Thus, this is a resource intensive query. This can be done by numbering the queries too. For example, send to repeater again and give a number to each system query and click send. Also, if we send this request to the intruder for comparing time, we can observe that the numbers are not there and it's just the query. Anyways, let us check if our previous intruder attack is complete or not. Observe the time, now it took around 65 seconds this time. Since you already got a system update query, the server will try to reuse that response itself. But we just got a gist of how batching attacks work. Let us go back to the repeater tab and see if we got a response in our number queries or not. As you can see, it took a total of 93 seconds this time. Now we'll try to understand a deep recursion query attack in which we create recursive queries by adding queries inside of other queries until there is a denial of service. As we know, we have a paste query that queries the pasted object and it contains an owner object which contains the owner ID and name. Let us create a sample query using this. Navigate to burp and send the request to the repeater again. Create a paste query that queries the name of owners with private paste like before and sends the request. Looks like we forgot the name parameter. Add it and send the request again. Observe that the user dvga user owns two private pastes. What if we create a recursive query that queries the names of the owners again inside the existing query and sends that to the server? Note that the first query took 20 milliseconds to complete. Now we'll send our recursive query. Looks like there is an error again. Note that the final sub selection can only be queried one time as it does not have any other sub C selections. So we'll remove the first name parameter and keep only the second one as shown. Now we'll send the request. Observe that it took 28 milliseconds this time and dvga user popped up 4 times. Typically, a server-side limit should be established to determine whether recursions can be performed and if so, to check how many recursions can take place. By now, we know that our server allows recursions, so let us create a more recursive query as shown and send that request. Notice that it took 214 milliseconds this time. Let us keep on adding the recursive queries until there is denial of service. Add the queries as shown on the screen and send the request. Look at that, it is taking some time now. Maybe we overwhelmed the server causing a denial of service. This is how we actually perform a deep recursive attack. Note that there are some basic vulnerabilities in GraphQL. There is always scope for research and practice, which can lead to more complex and higher impact bugs.